Hey guys, John with Integral Camera Solutions. Today I'm going to be talking about the new 4K Blackvue cloud cameras for 2024. This year's upgrades to Blackvue's 4K dash cameras are actually worth talking about, and I think makes up for last year's somewhat disappointing upgrade. So let's get started. So guys, this year there are 3 new 4K Blackvue cameras, and Blackvue was kind enough to send me 2 of them to test and review. The third one that I don't have here is the box version, which has separate cameras where the DVR is completely separate from the front camera. But, I appreciate that they were able to send these 2 out. The box version doesn't actually come out until next month, I think. If you are interested in purchasing any of these, I will provide links down in the description. They are affiliate links that do help support my work on this channel. And I'd appreciate if you subscribe and like the video if you do find it helpful. So let's talk about these 4K cameras now. So the standard 970X Plus comes in a 1 or 2 channel option. I would highly recommend you get 2 channels though with any of these Blackvue cameras. You want to be able to record behind you. The main thing about this one is it does not have a SIM card slot built in. So if you want to use the cloud features, which I think is one of the standout features of Blackvue cameras, you are going to have to buy this 4G LTE module, and that will plug into the micro USB port on the side. Other than the size difference, that's pretty much the only difference between these two, so most of the footage during this review is going to come from this one, because I was able to just swap it in my mount for my 970 from last year, 970X, and you can see here, they do look different. This is probably the biggest drastic change they've made. You can see there's a bigger front lip here, and we'll talk about some of the other features a little bit later, but here we have the LTE model, which comes in 1 or 2 channels also, and it is larger because it has the SIM card hardware built in. So you'll take this off and the SIM card port is actually underneath here. It's actually right there. But besides that, they're pretty much the same cameras. So these cameras are going to come with a standard 12-volt power cable. I don't recommend using this though, but I highly recommend you use the included hardwiring kit. If you don't know how to do this, I'll provide a link down in the description to a guide. Otherwise, you can get Best Buy to install it for like $100. But I highly recommend you use this to get the most out of your dash camera, because you're going to get the best parking mode and cloud features if you use the hardwiring kit. Now there's also some battery options from Blackvue. I don't recommend them for most people. If you drive 45 minutes to 60 minutes a day, you shouldn't really have any issue keeping your battery charged with either of these dash cameras. But if you are interested in checking those out for whatever reason, maybe you don't want to drain your car battery at all, I'll provide links down in the description for those also. So one of the big upgrades this year are all of the new 4K cameras have the new Sony Starvis 2 IMX678 image sensor. I believe it's about 8.2 megapixel image sensor to give it true native 4K. Now a lot of cheaper 4K dash cameras lie and say they're 4K, but they only have a 4 megapixel image sensor, which is not enough pixels to be native 4K, so you got to watch out for that. This new Sony Starvis 2 image sensor definitely provides better low light sensitivity and dynamic range, and I didn't notice it, so we'll show some comparison footage. But this year they did actually put a new CPU chipset in here. Apparently that gives it better image processing to provide that better video quality, especially at night. Another thing about the video is this year they did bring back HEVC, high efficiency video coding, also known as H.265. And I didn't actually realize that they removed that several years ago, because the very first 4K Blackvue camera, I believe the DR970X or S, sorry, yeah, I believe it was the S model. It had H.265, and the big benefit of that is you can get much better compression in your video files, so you'll still get high quality, high bit rate 4K video, but the file sizes are going to be smaller. Now, it does offer H.264 and lower bit rates if you would like, but in this case, they did actually upgrade the memory card support to 512 gigabytes, which is pretty awesome. That's going to be a lot of hours of footage. You should have no problem keeping many, many hours and days of footage on there. So I'll provide a link down in the description to the 512 gigabyte SanDisk high endurance memory card I recommend. It's specifically designed for long recording in things like dash cameras or security cameras. Now, also, the front lens is upgraded with a 7-element lens sporting an f1.7 aperture with a 146 degree diagonal angle view. So this lens also contributes to the better video quality. Now, the rear camera on both of these models are the same as last year's model. So if you are upgrading, you won't even have to remove your wiring. You can leave your mount in your windshield. You can leave your rear camera in your rear window and just plug the new camera into the mount and you're good to go. That's what I did. So that's always convenient. So now one of the main features people love about Blackvue cameras, of course, is the Wi-Fi app and being able to connect to the camera to change the settings or view files. But one thing this year is they do have dual band wireless, so it has 2.4 or 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi connectivity now. So with the 5 gigahertz, you should be able to connect faster, view streams faster or files, and I would assume you should be able to download video files quicker also. Now, setting up is as easy as before. They have the seamless pairing where basically you open the app and click add camera, and then it starts searching for a camera, and it'll ask you to put your finger over the sensor. And when you do that, it basically shakes hands with your phone and connects within seconds. So they've had this feature for a few years, and I think it's one of the easier Wi-Fi app connections of dash cameras. And again, the app's going to allow you to change settings, view a live feed to set your camera, view and download files, which do show the GPS location on the map while you're watching. Now, Blackvue's great parking mode is here as usual. It's a feature in all of their cameras. The standard automatic buffered parking mode means it'll start recording before it senses motion or an impact because it's always buffering a little bit of video on its internal memory. And then when it senses motion or an impact in this standard buffered parking mode, it'll save that previous buffered footage to your memory card and then an additional until it stops sensing motion, or basically a 30-second clip if it was an impact. Previously, only 5 seconds was being buffered onto its internal memory, but this year they have doubled it to 10 seconds. So I think that's pretty great. So you'll get a whole 10 seconds before it senses motion or an impact. And I think it's really important to have this buffered parking mode because cheaper cameras used to just wake up and start recording sometimes 3 seconds after it sensed something. So if someone keys your car, you might miss them walking past your car. So that's why I think buffered parking mode is very important. Another great feature that they've had for a few years that's still here is you can sense or set the area of the screen that the motion detection will look for, because you don't want things like trees blowing in the wind or people really far away or cars really far away that are high up on the screen setting their motion detection off. So this will provide a lot of false alerts or false recordings and save memory card space and save power from your car battery. Now there's also a time lapse and buffered events option where it basically records 1 frame per second, and then if it detects an impact, it'll record a typical buffered impact event video, and that's the whole 10 seconds leading up to the impact and then 20 seconds after. This is really good for people who park in high traffic areas and don't want to fill up their memory card with tons of videos of cars or people passing by, because with the standard buffered motion detection mode, if you are in a high traffic area, it's basically going to be recording regular clips all day long. So that's a very useful feature for some people. Now, the big standout feature with Blackvue is going to be Blackvue Cloud. And I still believe that Blackvue Cloud is the best cloud-based or cloud service for dash cameras on the market. Now, if you're unfamiliar with it, you do need to pay for the connection. So in my case, I typically run the standard camera with the external 4G LTE module. I pay $10 a month for a T-Mobile 2 GB plan. If you buy this version, it will actually come with a SIM card, and that is a Blackvue SIM card. Blackvue does offer their own plans, so I'll show their plans on the screen. You can pause it if you'd like, but I found that my T-Mobile was cheaper at the time, so I've just stuck with it. Now, of course, with the Blackvue Cloud feature, you will be able to view a live feed while your car is driving or even when it's parked. So if someone were to hit your car in a parking lot, it's actually going to send your phone a notification and a picture, and then you can start viewing a live feed and see what's going on, see if someone's still there. Also, very importantly, it can automatically upload that clip to the cloud, so that way for you to download later. So that's a very useful feature. Now you can monitor the car's location and speed using this too. This might be helpful for parents keeping a tab on their kids or employers with a fleet of vehicles. You can receive alerts if the vehicle goes over a certain speed limit or even if it leaves a certain geographic area. So a lot of this, I think, is more tailored for employers with fleets, but some parents might consider this useful too. Now, in addition to paying for your data plan, Blackvue Cloud does start free for one camera, but if you want multiple cameras, you are going to have to pay for a higher tier service from Blackvue Cloud that does cost money. It starts at $4 a month, which is very reasonable, but they do charge more per camera, so that's something to consider. If you are an employer, I would highly recommend the Fleet plan. It's going to allow a lot more in-depth features and tracking, GPS logs that will last much longer, and of course it allows the most vehicles. All of these different plans, though, will allow you to view driver's reports even on the free version, so you can see if you've been braking hard or accelerating quickly a lot, and it will give you a driver score, so that's something, again, for parents and employers with fleets. So guys, now the very important thing, of course, is the video quality. Last year's model, I was a bit disappointed hearing that it didn't use the Starvis 2 image sensor, as the two main competitors, in my opinion, ThinkWare and Viofo, did upgrade to the new Starvis 2 image sensor. Last fall, I did a comparison between the ThinkWare U3000, which has that new sensor, versus last year's 970X model, and that only had the Starvis 1 image sensor, but I was pleasantly surprised at the quality of the Blackvue camera, and I think their image processing was just better. I did read later that ThinkWare doesn't have high dynamic range, so that could be why it doesn't look as good. So it was surprising that I fully expected the Starvis 2 in the U3000 from ThinkWare to give it an obvious edge, but it was the opposite, in my opinion. So I think Blackvue does a good job processing their video and whatever magic they have behind the scenes. So now this year, there was a jump in quality from last year's 970X to this new Plus model, and I really feel like this might be the biggest video quality jump since the first 4K model, so I think many people will be very happy with the quality. Oftentimes their upgrades are very minimal, so I typically tell people probably don't need to upgrade if you have last year's model. That still might be the case here, but this is definitely the first time in a few years where I definitely would recommend upgrading if you can afford it. And affordability is, of course, one of the issues. The standard 2-channel starts at $475, and the 4G LTE module, I believe, is $150 or $160. So that puts it at over $600. And this version starts at $545. So again, if you plan on keeping it for several years and want the cloud feature, this is the way to go. You save quite a bit of money. And those prices include just a 64 gigabyte memory card. Now, I've seen complaints quite a few times about people saying that Blackvue cameras aren't worth it. And yes, they are very expensive, but they're also really hard to compare to other dash cameras. Viofo's 4K 2-channel systems are quite a bit cheaper, but they offer no cloud support at all. So if you want any sort of cloud features, then Viofo isn't an option. Some companies, such as ThinkWare and Garmin, offer cloud support but must connect to a Wi-Fi hotspot. So some cars have Wi-Fi hotspots, but when your car is off, the hotspot's off, so you're not getting those cloud features while parked. So if you do want cloud features, you're going to have to get a hotspot device, and place it in your car and make sure it's always connected to power somehow. That's how Blackvue was maybe like 6, 7 years ago. And to me, that's just too inconvenient. The 4G LTE module at least is powered by the camera, so you know it's always on when the camera's on. Now, there is also the Ring car cam, which I did review. I even purchased that one myself for $250. It actually has very good cloud connection, I should say, because you don't have to have a SIM card. You just pay, I think it was like $7 a month or something, and it'll be connected to the cloud. No separate device or anything similar to this. But the video quality is terrible and absolutely unacceptable for a $250 two-channel camera. Honestly, even $60 dash cameras have much better video quality. $60 cameras 5 years ago had similar video quality. So I'll provide a link down to Ring's car cam review that I did down below. But again, it was not a camera I could possibly recommend. So that brings up an issue though. If you don't want cloud features, are these cameras worth it? Maybe not. Maybe you are better off getting one of the VFO cameras, such as the A139 Pro 2 or 3 channel, which has some of the best video quality on the market. But again, if you don't need the cloud features, why pay the premium for cloud-based cameras? I personally use the cloud features, which is why I continue to use them. So that's why I said earlier in the video, if you buy these cameras, hardwire them and make use of all of their features. Otherwise, you're just paying extra for nothing. Overall, I think more and more people will want cloud features. And since Blackvue has been leading the pack for quite a few years now, it'll be interesting to see how the market goes once other companies start to catch up and offer more integrated cloud support. But until Ring starts offering decent video quality, or another company like Thinkware offers more seamless cloud connection, then I think Blackvue is going to continue to lead in this field for several years to come. So again, if you are a Blackvue owner and haven't upgraded in a few years, I can easily say yes, this is definitely one worth upgrading. I can't imagine seeing as big of an upgrade next year, but we'll see. I'm very excited about this new model. So what do you guys think? Do you want to have cloud connectivity in your dash camera, or do you just want the best video quality without paying for extra features that you're not going to use? Comment down below. And as usual, if you'd like to purchase any of these cameras, check the links down below. And if you found this video helpful, I would love to see you subscribe if you aren't already. And of course, click the like button to help that algorithm. Really helps me out. So as usual, drive safe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.